Hello friends and bees and friends who are also bees, and welcome to this week's Indie Thursday stream. I'm sorry that we're running a little bit later than planned. I was on the phone to my mum and completely lost track of time. And then abruptly mum goes, "Hey, isn't it like 20 to 9? Didn't you say you had to be finished at 8:30? And I'm like, oh yeah. So that's why we're running late. Because that's the first human interaction I've had all day that's not been email or Discord. So I'm doing great, lads. I'm doing just fine. Don't ask. But yeah, welcome to this week's Indie Thursday stream. I said that already. It's Higurashi When They Cry time. Continuing with chapter 2, Watanagashi. When we left off last time, we just discovered that there were actually, the twins were two different people, much like Drew and Danny. Can you tell that I have been watching a lot of commentary YouTube recently because I've been really bored, and it makes me laugh while I am doing boring work things. So that's been my life. So we worked out that was the sitch, and then decided that we decided to go home. I think that's what we did. It's been like a week. I can't remember things that happened a week ago. I can't remember things that happened this morning. So I'm mentioning the festival in the title again because once again I'm pretty certain that we're going to get to the festival this time around, but I really don't know. So because I'm running a little late, let's just swap over to the GP. And there we go. I'm very sorry if you can hear my computer humming away in the background. I'm not sure why it's so loud, but it is, and that's my life. So let's pick up where we left off, shall we? Yes. I am sitting like a gremlin, and I'm going to stop. Oh, we've got the funky music. I think we read this tip, but well, yeah, no, we must have done because I always save after reading those. If we haven't, I'll be like, what the fuck? And it'll be fine. The next day, I have to remember all the different voices I was doing. It was a strange day where Mion was desperate to regain her composure. Every time our eyes met, she'd say she had something to do or that she had to use the washroom and run off. Unable to just watch, Reina was taking care of her the entire time. We really fucked up is what we did. Mion, she's acting totally strange today. I know the whole story, but it's hard to explain. There are times when girls are emotionally unstable. It's best to just leave her alone. Turning around, I saw Reina calling me from the hallway. Wondered what it was. Katie, over here, over here. What is it calling me over like this? Is it a secret? That is, it looks like it was a disaster. Yeah, Mion seems pretty broken, but somehow I got her working again. Surprised you managed it. How did you exactly? Same way I do with the television. Just come at it from a 45-degree angle and yeah! Saying that, she made a chopping motion. You know, I can't tell if you're joking or not, right? She'll be fine by tomorrow. Also, there's something I want you to do, Keiichi. I didn't mean to do anything wrong, but I still feel guilty. I'm listening. Thanks. You see, Mion is just going to pretend the last few days never happened. Never happened, huh? I see, well, that's one way to run from it. So you see, Keiichi, could you pretend too? Then Mion can go back to normal. Just doing something as simple as that. Is it really going to be okay? Please, until Mion gets her feelings in order, just go with it. Okay, I got it. Even though I shouldn't have been at fault, for some reason I feel guilty. Felt guilty. I mean, you did goof by not being emotionally aware, but aren't we all really? The one at fault here was the one who knew about the entire situation and pretended to be Mion for an entire day. Shion. But she never once said she was Mion. What am I supposed to be angry at? Seeing me stomping the ground impatiently, Reina giggled. But Keiichi, you knew as well that Mion has some cute things about her. Reina talked in a calm voice as her hair rustled in the wind. Yeah, I know that she'll never let it be boring. Good. Following this curt reply, Reina looked up at the sky and stretched. As long as you realise that, Keiichi, these past few days will soon be nothing more than a story to laugh about. Copying Reina, I also began to stretch as I looked at the sky. Clear sky towered into the distance. There's no club activities or anything today. I'm sorry, Keiichi, but just for today, can you go home by yourself? It'll be all back to normal by tomorrow, so just for today, okay? If all it took for everything to go back to normal was to leave me on alone for today, then it was an easy decision to make. Got it. I can't say it directly to Mion, so I'll say it to you. I still feel kind of guilty about it, so I want to apologise. No, the root of the problem was Keiichi saying something insensitive, right? So if you learned anything from this, you need to look a bit into gaining a sense of delicacy. Right, I'll try. That day was the shortest day of my life. Reina was talking to Mion while accompanying her around the entire time. It looked like a really fun conversation, so I reflexively thought about joining in, but I'd made a promise not to, seeming that Mion was also trying her best to ignore me. So likewise, I did my best to ignore her. For the first time in a while, I ate lunch alone. Mion and Reina ate theirs by themselves. So then outside my ashen mood, Rika came over and patted me on the head. Both Keiichi and Mion learned a whole lot. Never say it like that. Made it sound like we were having romantic problems. Didn't like that one bit. Hopefully the teacher would notice and call us to the staff room after school or something. I'm sure that Keiichi will grow up to be a wonderful adult. Pat pat. I'm sure he will grow up. Rika's a studious type, so maybe you'll grow up to be an amazingly wonderful adult. Of course. When I grow up, I'll be super amazing. When I grow up, I'll be an amazing lady, you know? No matter how old you get, you'll still be a brat. You can put money on it. What did you say? Satoko snapped her fingers. A wash basin fell from above, hitting me squarely in the head. Ow. What do you think you're doing, Satoko? Bang smash. Pinch squeeze. It's the day I could thoroughly appreciate the value of having friends. Fucking Keiichi. But just how it be in Keiichi's land, I guess. Today was Saturday, so school ended in the blink of an eye. Felt really good to go home with the sun so high in the sky. And any other day, our club would have been up to mischief during our ample after-school time, but today Rika had a rehearsal for tomorrow's Watanagashi to go to. How's that going, Rika? Do you have it down in practice? I'll try harder than last year. You were so exhausted and sweaty after last year's ceremony. She'll look far more fit for the role this year. Please, look forward to the fruits of her training. Watanagashi festival everyone had been talking about was tomorrow, wasn't it? Festival being in June felt a little early to me, but the onset of summer came quickly this year, so it fit the image of a summer festival pretty well. See, June for me is midsummer, but it's also because it's when my birthday is, so it's the best time of year. Okay, well, we'll be off then. Look forward to tomorrow. Good day to you all. Satoko and Rika waved to us energetically, then left. You know, I never asked, where is the festival happening anyway? I don't remember there being anywhere around here that seems suited for hosting one. They do it at the Furude Shrine. We went there for a walk one day, remember? It was that place with a really good view? Oh, right, I remember. There was a shrine all the way up on that hill, wasn't there? It seemed far too grand for Hinamizawa. It was a great meeting hall in the shrine too. The older people get together there and sing karaoke or practice calligraphy from time to time. It's more like a recreational facility than a simple shrine. I see. I guess it makes sense that it looks so grand then. Mion, is your family going to help set up today? Yep, we have male hands for that. Most of our relatives came from town to help. Male hands, huh? Well, I mean, I have nothing to do at home today, so... Would it be a problem if I squam my way in there to help out too? Huh? You want to help us, Keiichi? Not if it will bother you at all. I was just kind of interested. We had bond dances and other festivals in town I used to live in, but I didn't even know where they took place, much less wanted to help. Could say that I had absolutely no connection to the region. Having come to Hinamizawa though, it really made me feel like this place was a home that I'd return to. Potential wink? Before I knew it, I harbored a little interest in small community activities preparing for a festival the day before. I wonder if you'll be able to, Keiichi. There's a lot of building tents and setting up chairs. I hear it's pretty hard physical labour. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it alone, right? The more hands we have, the faster it'll go. Mion looked happy to hear that, but at the same time her expression was complex, tinged with hesitation. Rena gave her the last push for me. It's decided then. You should go for it, Keiichi. He's all yours, Mion. Put him through the ringer. Well, I can't argue with a recommendation from Reina. Okay then, go home first, put on some work clothes and come to the shrine. Oh, and you might want to bring a towel to wipe your sweat too. Got it. I may look scrawny, but I actually quite like breaking a sweat under the hot sun. Careful you don't hurt your back, okay? Right, enough of my old man spiel. I'll go to the shrine too, as soon as I've changed. Mion, you do your best too. Bye-bye. Mion waved vigorously to us and left. As far as I could tell from a gallant retreating figure, she seemed to have recovered from the weak state she had yesterday. Girls are quick to get over things. Mion is already fine. Right, switching back to normal so cleanly really makes it easy for me to talk to her. It's kind of funny though, isn't it? Kind of like Cinderella? Like, you can't meet her anymore once the magic wears off. Reina began to giggle a fair bit in amusement. Did she like this sort of thing? Incidentally, me going along with it gave me a weird, hard to describe feeling. Did I turn myself into a plaything, or did they do it for me? If you think it's so funny, then you should try to be pretending to be a different Reina too. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Keiichi, what kind of Reina would you want to meet? One with a buff side of a... No, I'm not saying that. I can't do that. Great at cooking, make me lunch, come to see me in the mornings. I do that already. Pull Reina's head into a tight grip, then start to pet it. You're Reina Ryugu, right? Reina, not Reina. So you just stay as Reina forever, got it? Thanks. Have fun helping set up the festival. You got it. Let's meet up tomorrow. I got changed right away, and slinging a towel around my neck like Mion suggested, I set off for the shrine. Shrine, there were more people than you'd imagine even live in Hinamizawa there, all cordoning off areas and setting up tent frameworks, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. Alright, where's Mion? The liveliness of the throng didn't make it easy to look for her. I searched around as if I already worked there, and suddenly the principal called out to me. Ha, if it isn't Maebara. Interesting. You come to help with the Watanagashi setup? Hello. Yes, I was just wondering if there's anything I could help with. How commendable your attitude is. Feel free to sweat to your heart's content. Aha! Spurred on by the principal, I came upon a group of people setting up tents. Oh, what's this? It's Maebara. Did you come all this way to help us? I hadn't found Mion yet, but I suppose I'd just get in her way if I ran into her. Yeah, I'm here to help. Just tell me where you need me. You young ones have all the vitality. Here, grab some work gloves. Ever built a tent before? No? Never. Delighted in teaching a new skill to someone younger, plenty of people happily taught me all sorts of things. Okay kid, go inside the tent and tie up just the cords for the top. After that, we'll stand it up and tie the rest of them. Butterfly knots are okay, right? There and there. All done? We're standing it up. 1, 2, 3. What was once nothing more than a collapsed tent was raised on 4 splendid legs before my eyes in mere moments. Whoa, seeing it put together like this is actually pretty moving. Come on, no time to stare and wonder. We've got a lot more to do. Pack the tents into a truck, so go get them from there. They're heavy, so take someone with you. I'm good. I may look scrawny, but I'm actually pretty strong. Whoa, they look light enough, so I thought they were, but they're heavy. That's why I told you to have someone help. Come on, said the man, lifting it up with a grunt and taking it away under his arm. Either I'm weak, or these old guys will have superhuman strength. Let's go. You're the youngest one here, so we're going to make you sweat for it. Do your best. Beer after work is the best. Minor. Sweat dripped from my body. I've been fully and completely absorbed in helping them. Would never have thought the cold barley tea from the Women's Society could taste this delicious. You're so young. Make sure you drink a lot. Thank you. It was then that I realised a crowd had formed near the shrine a ways off. When I took a closer look, I saw a girl dressed in shrine maiden garb and a handful of old men looking like they're preparing for the ceremony together. Is that Rika? Hey Rika, do your best! I shouted and it seemed like she heard me. Rika, positively exploding with vitality, answered with a smile. The older guys with me watched Rika as well with distant gazes. Rika's doing a great job. She seems far more used to this than she did last year. The old lady gave me the tea, clasped what looks like prayer beads in her hand and said, Rika-sama, we thank you, we thank you. And just like that, began to respectfully pray to her. Huh? Just remembered that they called it the Furude Shrine. Wasn't Rika's full name Rika Furude? Man standing next to me answered my question. That's right, Rika's Furude clan is ancient honourable and has worshipped Oyashiro-sama for generations. Huh, I always got the feeling she wasn't quite your average person, but it turned out she was from an esteemed family. After her father, who was the shrine priest, died the year before last, she's really been doing her best to learn the rituals. Wish a priest could have been here to see how wonderfully she's grown up. What? Rika's father passed away? Okay, break time is over. Let's get to the chairs we're not using back to the gym and Okonomiya. Maki, pull the truck around here and take a few people with you. Alright, Nebara, let's get to work on just one last job. You gonna make me do more work? Can't tell if they know I'm a minor or not, but they all might. Older men all cheer me on, encouraging me to do my best and that the beer will be great. Listen, that's never stopped any minors I've known. Keiichi, working hard, I see. I passed by Mion. She was carrying a big cardboard box. Looked like she was right in the middle of working as well. Judging by the sweat seeping into her shirt, it seemed I wasn't the only one with his hands full. Yeah, I'm working my ass off. You work hard too. Beer's gonna be great. We worked to the bone until the sun began to set and it started cooling off. It was soon full-fledged night, and the clear sound of the Higurashi eased the moderate pain I felt. Older guys began their night before drinking party in the tent, a fair bit off, causing quite a ruckus. Shrine grounds, on the other hand, had turned into a lonely road tickled by the cool evening breeze, despite being so festive just a little while ago. The wind felt good. I leaned on one of the stone guardian dogs at the front of the shrine. I gave my legs a good stretch as I let my mind wander, and suddenly a paper cup filled with barley tea was thrust before me. Keiichi, great work. Here's some tea for you. So considerate. Thanks. Her voice sounded exactly the same, but it felt somehow different. Wait, you're... Hey, it's Shion. Don't go giving Mion all the credit. She isn't considerate at all. Don't get us confused, okay? Shion, you little... Now that I've caught you, you're not getting away. Ha! It was your mistake, Keiichi. Never said I was anyone other than Shion. Guess I can't argue with that. It's right, you're no match for my older sister, so I can't let you be a match for me either. Anyway, your tea. It's gonna get warm. Come on, please cheer up. Trying to make it up to you with this tea. Well, she did come all the way here to give it to me. Guess I'll accept it. Took the cup and downed it in one gulp. Suddenly, I had a loud shout and I got stuck in my throat. Which one is it this time? Is it the real Mion? Shion, why are you hanging out with Keiichi again? Because unlike you, I'm very considerate. Keiichi was so sweaty, I couldn't leave him alone, so I brought him some tea. By the way, why are you holding 2 cups of tea? Mion's face went bright red, and she tried to hide the paper cups behind her back. Well, there's no way you, such a rough, timid, good sister of mine, would ever briskly bring a male classmate tea, is there? So what are they? What are those 2 cups of tea? These are, well, right. I was just so thirsty. Figured I'd drink too. So like you. Come on, chug, chug. Shion cheered at her. Mion downed both cups of tea, one after the other. Gonna need to pee so bad. What a fabulous drink that was. I expected nothing less from you. Keiichi, you give her a hand too. Suddenly the situation has gotten unbelievable. Mion doesn't usually get manipulated so easily like that. I've known for a while now, but Shion is terrifying. Mion, you can't hold your own against Shion? I hate her, and lately I hate her even more. Just then, I heard the snap of a camera shutter. This is just giving me intense flashbacks to when I was at a wedding with several of my friends. It was a friend's wedding, and a whole bunch of us from university had gone. And there is a photo that a friend took of me and my ex-flatmates in the middle of a very serious conversation. I think at least one of us was crying, because that's usually how our conversations went. It's just, it always makes me laugh at this photo. It's like, oh, look at this photo of my 3 friends, and I have this distinct memory of us having this like intense, it wasn't an argument because I hadn't started arguing by that point, but we were like very, very serious conversation between the 3 of us, and then just like a fun photo. That's right, I don't know most of the people anymore, so. Good evening. Festival is coming up tomorrow. Thanks for your hard work setting it up today. Good evening. Oh, Shion? It's quite unusual for you to come here. Oh hey, it's Tomitake and Takano. Good evening. It's been a while, hasn't it? So you're that transfer student I've been hearing about, Keiichi Maebara, right? You really did a bang-up job today. I'm impressed. I feel like I've seen this photographer guy before. Have we met before? I'm glad you remembered. We passed many times on the road, Keiichi. I'm Tomitake. I'm a freelancing photographer from Tokyo. Good evening. Do you recognize me? I'm sorry, but I don't. She's Miyo Takano. Do you remember when you were at the doctor's office when you still had a cold, Keiichi? Miyo was one of the nurses who works there. Call me Takano. I'm pleased to meet you. Tell me when you're coming in for treatment. I'll prepare a huge needle for you. That's very thoughtful of you. Tomitake seemed to be quite entertained at the Sonozaki twins being in the same place, and he took picture after picture. Wow, I'd heard you two are identical twins, but it really is something to see you side by side. Really do look exactly alike. We're not just alike on the outside. See, our unders matches too. You idiot, what the hell are you doing? Things have never been as lively as when the two of them are together. Thought they were exactly the same at first, but I started to get a handle on which one's which. Mion is Mion, and Shion, well, she seems a far better actor than Mion was. In the first place, somebody that could spurn Mion so easily wouldn't have shown such weakness to those lard buckets at Angel more. If that was the case, and that cowardly behaviour from that day was all a complete act. They were even more alike when they were little. I heard even their parents had a hard time telling which was which. It's really easy to imagine. I totally understand what they must have gone through. Takano gave me kind of an odd look, but explaining it would have been a pain, so I didn't bother. Tomitake, you going straight back to Tokyo after you get your pictures of the festival? Yep, though I'd rather just stay here forever. Silly adult things, that's all. I hope your photos win a fabulous prize soon. I've been praying for it. Thanks. Next time I come, I'll bring the pictures I took of you all today. Maebara, you did a lot of work today. You must be tired from all the physical labour you're not used to. Huh? Well, I'm tired, but it was still pretty fun. I like how everyone's like, Maebara's a fucking weakling. Youth, I'm so jealous. Takano smiled with adult elegance that no one in my circle of friends possessed. Wind caught her hair. She gives off an intelligent beauty. Oh, why, hello everyone. It seemed like our merry crowd was standing out. This time, an overweight older man addressed us. And again, it was someone I thought I knew. If I recall correctly, he's a policeman, isn't he? Oh, Mr. Oishi, good evening. Doing a preliminary security inspection for tomorrow? Something like that. Oh, if it isn't Tomitake. Certainly been a while. I'm honoured you remember my name. You really do love Hinazawa, don't you? Apartments around here are far cheaper than the ones in Tokyo. You should just move here and get it over with. I know a realtor I can introduce you to. I appreciate the thought. I'd very much like to follow up on that. Alright everyone, have a good year, and Happy New Year to the Sonozaki twins too. Happy New Year, Detective Oishi. We appreciate your work. We'd like to end this year's festival with the least amount of inconvenience possible. That's pretty strict on me. Detective Oishi left us with a low laugh and headed off to talk to some police officer standing a ways away. I gave Mion a glance and saw her making an annoyed face, as if she were glaring bullets at someone she hated. Yeah, sorry, I'm losing my voice, apparently. It'd be nice if the police didn't have anything to do during Watanagashi this year. You like this place too, don't you? Oh, you mean to say you dislike it, Jiro? I quite enjoy such fantastic stories, you know, especially with the times being so dry and uninteresting. The curse of Oyashiro-sama, you mean? Curse? Tomisake used a troubling word. Then suddenly someone tugged at my arm. Keiichi, I'm pretty hungry. Want to go to the tent with the drinks and have some candy and sweets? I'm up for that. I've gotten a little hungry as well. Okay, let's go. A moment later, Shion said something to Takano and Tomitake that stung my ears and gave me a start. I wonder who will die and who will disappear this year. Pulled back from Mion's grasp and stopped abruptly. Shion, what did she just say? It felt like the air around us dried out all of a sudden. Let's go, Keiichi. They're talking about something silly anyway. You still haven't told Keiichi? I make it a point not to spread stories like that. Shion's cold and quiet tone and Mion's harsh voice were quite the contrast. Wait, hold on, what are you talking about? If you know something, then tell me. It doesn't feel right being the only one left out, you know? I don't understand this. Someone explained it to me. However, Mion didn't seem to be at all willing to grant my request. She squeezed my hand in hers at best, but when she realised I would hold my ground on this topic, she let go. I'm going to go to the drinking tent first, then. If you don't come soon, Keiichi, there won't be any left for you. Get it already. I'll be there soon. Mion left, trotting towards a particularly noisy tent on the other side of the shrine grounds. Before she got there, she stopped and turned back around. Showed no signs of going after her, though, so she ran off. I could tell you if you haven't heard, I suppose, but it might be smarter not to ask and go with her to eat dessert. Hey now, you've already got my full attention here. I'm not going to leave without asking at this point. I think Keiichi has the right to hear this too. My sister was just stealing that from you. Shion's voice was bristling with thorns, as if somehow blaming me on. What on earth are you talking about? I don't really like people acting so self-important. Takano, realising how prepared I was, looked across the group. After confirming that there were no objections, she opened her mouth. Do you believe in curses, Maebara? Curses? I think they're interesting, but I don't really... I felt their cynical stares and winced. It's like they were telling me it was strange not to believe in curses. You're not wrong, Keiichi. Curses are just superstition. It's only natural that you wouldn't believe in them. Besides, you can take all the time you need to decide whether or not to believe in curses after you've heard us through, said Takano, giving a little smile. They're trying to scare me. At least, that's what it feels like. Alright, I'll start. Keiichi, do you know about the Hinamizawa Dam project? Oh yeah, the other day Angel or Shion, or Mion rather, told me all about it. You mean the plan for the giant dam that would flood all of Hinamizawa, right? That's right. Residents of the town banded together to fight it, and a fierce battle with the government unfolded. I've heard that too. Entire village united, using all the power at their disposal, mass media, political influence and other things, and fought the country. The way Mion described it made it sound like a boast. Oh, you know quite a bit about it. Yes, you're right. It's practically an epic tale, how just 1,000 or so villagers banded together and rejected the government's plans. Did you hear this from my sister? She likes those kind of epics, you know. Yeah, she told me. There was, however, an office for the Hinamizawa residents' opposition faction. It was the shrine. You know the assembly hall? That's where it used to be. Now that the whole thing is over, the senior citizens just use it for group activities. At the time, though, it was their last bastion. Takano explained this, pointing a finger towards the assembly hall. I've been carrying things in and out of there all day. I mean, I would understand if they put an office like that in the mayor's house or something, but having an office on shrine grounds made it feel kind of like a base camp for Sengoku period warriors. That was basically the mindset, though. Placing the main force in the shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama, Hinamizawa's guardian deity, was like a prayer for victory. Oyashiro-sama. That was definitely it. They mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse before. Is it the same Oyashiro-sama? One presumes, Keiichi. One would presume. Do you know about Oyashiro-sama, Keiichi? It's the name of a god worshipped at the shrine. Said that he protects all of Hinamizawa. Well, I don't really know much about him. I see. I think Takano knows more about the rest. Tag, you're it. Well, that is generally the whole story. Oyashiro-sama's ancient god passed down in Hamizawa, and the villagers say he's been protecting the sanctuary from the poisons of the outside world. So essentially, he's a basic standard guardian deity. Guess you can find that sort of god anywhere you go. His research into whether Oyashiro-sama is a manifestation of a kind of elitism too. What I mean is that the worshippers might think of themselves as chosen people. It's a cult. Believing yourself chosen, a nationalistic belief that you're part of a superior race or that you're a special clan chosen by the gods. They believe they're a superior clan, so they believe strongly in cooperating with others, but they also end up being exclusionary towards other clans. I won't go into much detail, but it's the sort of national religious idea that leads to war. Of course, that goes for Japan too. A long time ago, the people of Hinamizawa strongly believed themselves different from humans, that they were above them, believed that interaction with the lower world would sully their souls. So everyone believed that if one from the lower world came into the village, they would be sullied and suffer the wrath of Oyashiro-sama. Apparently, that kept everyone away. Villages that hid outsiders come up all the time in mystery novels. This was once a classic example of a xenophobic village. Well, they'll deny it to preserve their pride. It was all a long time ago, after all. Things are different now. Shion followed up quickly, having sense of thorns in Tomatake's words. Tomatake, embarrassed at what he said, scratched his head. This shrine worships Oyashiro-sama, thinks of Hinamizawa as holy ground, and it's a symbol of their traditional hatred of the outside world. I get it, so that's why they chose the shrine of Hinamizawa's guardian spirit as the base of operations, to resist the sullied down construction project that came from the outside. Correct, smiled Takano, pleased. She must dislike stupid people. Superstition, every last bit of it. Villagers gave everything, desperate to oppose the dam construction, and right in the midst of it, the incident drove home the finishing blow. Oyashiro-sama's curse? The person managing the construction site of Hinamizawa Dam was murdered. 4 years ago, I believe. Took the newspapers by storm. Do you remember it? Not really. He had a fight with a subordinate, was beaten to death with a pickaxe. His limbs and head were torn off and the remains disposed of. The construction manager was murdered and dismembered. Such a gruesome incident. But it was just that, an incident. The person caused the incident after all. Should they really put it down to a curse? Then the following year, the man who had organised Hinamizawa's group of dam proponents, he fell from a cliff while on vacation and died. Apparently it was an accident. Of course, most of Hinamizawa was hostile to him. Police were all over the case as if it were a homicide, but in the end it was judged to have been an accident. Now it's an accident. This is the most curse-like one, but it's still far-fetched. Then on the next year, this time the priest of the shrine contracted an unknown illness and suddenly died. This may sound a little rude, but the old priest was kind of a wait-and-see type. The whole village was in an uproar about the dam, but he kind of just didn't seem to want to bother. The shrine was a symbol of the opposition movement, and its priest, well, his attitude worked against him. Villagers at the time had hoped for a leader, but their hopes were betrayed. Some people were pretty angry too. So at the time, all the older people were like, blowing out candles live on stream. This is Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's what they said. It did seem like every year, damn-related people the village had resentment towards were dying. It's pretty creepy. Oh, and also, it's interesting, all of these incidents and accidents always happen on the night of the Watanagashi festival. What? See? It's starting to sound like a curse now, isn't it? Then the year after that? In other words, last year? Sister-in-law of the man who was the leader of the dam proponents, the one who accidentally died, was discovered dead, having been beaten to death. It's the fact that it's the sister-in-law. So it's either dam proponent's wife's sister or dam proponent's brother's wife. Or sibling's wife, I should say. You never know, right? But why sister-in-law of all people? That feels... Well, this has always felt odd to me that they went for, like... It's like the curse was like, well, we've run out of the immediate people who are for it to go for, so we're going to get this other guy. I'll be honest, spoiler alert for the next handful of sentences, going for Tamatake has always seemed weird to me as well, because it seems like he's, if anything, he's like pro the village, like he really cares for it, and he wants it to be safe, and, you know, he's really into it, so I don't understand why he was the chosen victim. Spoiler over. Of course, they caught that criminal. See? It really seems like a curse, huh? 4 years in a row? Each one of the incidents and accidents were relatively commonplace, but every single one of them happening on the night of the festival worshipping Oyashiro-sama? That's not normal. The old folks have been blindly accepting Oyashiro-sama's curse because of the incidents the past few years. Even younger people too. At first they thought it was stupid, but now nobody makes fun of it. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from. Ooh. Sorry, I put my fleece back on. Even me. Even if I didn't think it was a curse at all, thinking about all the incidents like this makes me feel like maybe it's real. For example, just look at the preparations for the festival you were doing today. Everything might have gone crazy during the battle against the dam, but just a few years ago, the Watanagashi festival was never this well attended. Well, I guess you're right. If we didn't have Oyashiro-sama to talk about, we wouldn't all be coming to a festival like this, huh? A lot of people who say that infidels might be punished, so they really need to go to Oyashiro-sama's festival. Shio nodded as if she were mocking herself. So how about now? Keiichi, you're starting to get the feeling that maybe, just maybe, the curse is real, aren't you? I mean, you can't just laugh off people related to the dam construction project all dying like that. Even if I feel like this now, then the more, if even more superstitious members of the village must be stronger than that. Fucking boss texting me at 9 o'clock at night. Don't do that. Well, I mean, I still don't think there's a curse. I can understand those that believe there is, though. Well, Keiichi, can really keep a cool head about this. Shion grinned, realising I'd rejected the curse. If it's neither a curse nor a coincidence, then what should we make of these incidents? Takano said, smiling playfully as if posing a riddle. Neither a curse nor a coincidence, but every year someone dies? What should we make of that, then? Tomatake, catching on to the fact that I had no idea what to make of it, opened his mouth and came to my aid. Takano suggesting that it might be the work of real people. Ah? Simple process of elimination would have got me there. A little taken aback at not having realised the answer immediately. I appreciate that they're bringing in this conflict at this point, like before the, you know, if the pivotal turning moment is Tomatake's death. Spoiler! I appreciate that they're bringing in this conflict of, like, here's all the information that you need about what happened in the past, and, like, here's the, you know, either it's just crazy coincidence, or it's an actual curse brought on by an actual god, or Hinamizawa is a village full of murderers. And sort of, you know, we're not going to have this, like, endless back and forth of, I don't want to accept it, where, that Keiichi did at the end of the last episode. I have to say, the thing I forget about Keiichi is he must be, what, 16, 17? He's still technically a child. I don't know if I could have accepted that if I was 16, 17. I don't think I could accept it now. I've never lived through it personally. I do believe in ghosts, though. And I will not defend myself. Actually, more than anything, I think I'm ghost agnostic. That's what I've described myself as. Well, think about it. If it's neither a curse nor a coincidence, then people must be willingly carrying out. It's the only explanation, right? Pressed Takano. I smiled bitterly in spite of myself. Here I was just a few minutes ago, thinking the very concept of a curse was absolutely absurd. When I suggested it was someone's doing, I ended up thinking there wasn't any way it could be a person. But Takano was right. It was either a curse or it was a person's doing. If unrealistic things like curses didn't exist, then the obvious next step would be to start thinking it was people behind it. But if that was the case, I glanced at Shion. If the culprit is a person, then they'd have to be someone from Hinamizawa. So a police officer, Mr. Oishi, thinks right now too. Hey, wait, that can't be. I thought I now knew the reason Mion didn't want to talk about this. If Yashiro-sama's curse really existed, then that's fine. It'd be divine judgment for the Down Project business. But if Yashiro-sama's curse didn't exist, which it obviously didn't, then the culprit would most likely be someone from Hinamizawa. Villagers who worked desperately to oppose the dam construction project knew they'd used all sorts of methods to fight against it. One of those methods was maybe... People whisper that Yashiro-sama's curse could be the doing of a secret group in the dam resistance movement. Shion dryly put words to my exact thoughts. Of course, I didn't expect it. She was from Hinamizawa, so I didn't think she'd come out and say it herself. Calm down and think about it. Anyone would come to the same conclusion. It wouldn't be a motive for anyone but people who benefit from opposing the dam project, right? I guess that's true. Admitting to the existence of a dark side of the dam conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly, so I couldn't just accept Shion's seemingly logical viewpoint. One more thing. The police probably don't know this. There's proof that someone in Hinamizawa committed those crimes, and the people of Hinamizawa know it. What? Shion rebukes me to keep my voice down. Sorry, but this proof, what is it? It's the fact that one person dies and one more person disappears. One more person disappears? Does that mean someone besides the one who died from a curse was a sacrifice? What do you mean by disappear? They just vanish and you never see them again? That's right. Suddenly, without a trace. She spoke. She pretended to do a trick with her hands like she were making a magician's hat disappear. One dies a mysterious death and one disappears, never to be seen again? Strange vanishing act. Then why? How does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit? Well, actually, Hinamizawa has this one really old legend. It's about how people offer sacrifices to Yashiro-sama to calm his wrath. Sacrifices? Yes. They say they used to wrap a living person up in bamboo mat and let them slowly sink into a bottomless swamp. Takano, though explaining something pretty terrible, has a look of glee on her face as she did so. As far as I can glean from literature, it actually took 3 days and 3 nights for them to sink. See, even people a long time ago like symbolism. As the body sunk, Yashiro-sama's anchor would be quelled. Both were submerged into the deep. Takano was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? She didn't move to deny it, but I felt the difference in the cool expression between hers and Takano's. This whole conversation, well, I think you can imagine after hearing it, but it's a secret history of Hinamizawa. Everyone who's been in Hinamizawa for a long time knows it, but they don't talk about it. Takano's not from here, but she knows quite a lot. She really likes local history, folk legends, stuff like that. She learned about it all by herself, too. I'm really not all that amazing. Just curious, that's all. Like a child. Just want to see scary things for the fun of it. Toмотake laughed, a little bit embarrassed. Wait a minute. What does that mean? The other person who disappears in the incidents, you're saying they're offered as a sacrifice? Yeah, Shion answers in one word before anyone else can speak. Someone dies and someone disappears? Well, whether they actually get sacrificed or not is a different issue, but every time something happened in the past, one person died and one other person disappeared. For example, the first one when the dam site manager was killed, apparently one of the people responsible for it still hasn't been arrested. Couldn't that just mean he managed to get away? I don't see why we should treat him as a sacrifice. Well, that's basically what I think too. There was also the year after that with the leader of the dam proponents. You said he fell from a cliff and died while on vacation, right? Apparently, his wife fell as well. The police investigated fervently, but they were never able to find the wife's corpse. The river under the cliff was actually pretty high at the time, though. She could just have been buried under sand at the bottom of some lake downstream or something. A perpetrator of a dismemberment like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they'd be desperate to run away and hide too. Thought I'd heard about cases where the corpse wouldn't surface after the person drowned in swelled weather like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still didn't see the connection to sacrifices. If you took each of the past instances in turn, none of the disappearances evoked the terrifying of an image. Well, yeah, after that, with the priest suddenly falling ill and dying, is much clearer. His wife left a suicide note. They found it in the house the night the priest died. It said something along the lines of her quelling Yashiro-sama's wrath through her death. Curse seems to turn up in this one, though. Well, we may never know the truth of the matter. The swamp the wife drowned herself in was a giant bottomless one, Takano mentioned before. Police investigated, but all they could find was several of her possessions. They never found the corpse. Police suspect it was a fake suicide, and they're still investigating it now. Someone dies every year in the same way someone goes missing every year. Just in case you hadn't got it yet, someone dies every year and they go missing every year. Was kidnapped by some extremely efficient means and dumped into the bottomless swamp, still alive and drowned to death. But a curse? That's unbelievable in its own right. Next year, what was it, the dam proponent's sister-in-law? She was killed. So at that time someone else vanished? Someone did disappear. It was a boy around my age named Satoshi Hojo. He's the nephew by marriage of the woman killed. Shion cut in with a slightly strong tone of voice. She knew the boy who disappeared pretty well, at least that's the vibe I was getting. Well, that about sums everything up. One person always dies, and one person always suddenly disappears. Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact was that each incident involved one person disappearing. So that means the first person who dies is because of Yashiro-sama's wrath, and the second person who vanishes is because the villagers sacrificed them? Is that it? Oh, so Yashiro-sama takes someone and the villagers give someone else. Keiichi, there is no curse. Somebody kills the first person with the guise of the curse, and someone takes away the second person to be a sacrifice. But Shion, that means the criminal is in the village. That's what I've been guessing from the start. It's pretty shocking though, you know? We live in the Showa period. It's kind of hard to believe people committing murder like it's nothing, using some ancient justification, huh? Didn't have anything to do with the discussion, but I got the feeling that maybe Shion didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Mion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and its epic tales, so she'd avoided talking about Yashiro-sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light, no matter how you looked at it. Trying not to give me a bad impression of the village, so she didn't say anything. Shion, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of a curse to purge Hinamizawa with this bad impression, but rather because she strongly believed that a member of the village was the criminal behind this. Her conviction seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community held by the people of Hinamizawa. Once upon a time, they looked so alike you could mistake one for the other, but talking to her now was getting a powerful feeling that Mion had a completely different personality than Shion rather. It sure does. Than everyone else, they all think someone from Hinamizawa did it, right? Neither Shion nor Takano answer that. Deafening silence told me all that needed to be said. Let me ask another question. Someone from Hinamizawa is the culprit, then who is it? Neither Shion nor Takano had a reply to that either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I'd hoped they wouldn't have one. The reason I asked was to argue their explanation the culprit was from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave a plain smile at my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak. All I said really just amounts to circumstantial evidence anyways. If any of us knew who it really was, we'd have gotten them into police hands already. As would anyone. Then what about Takano? She too smiled dryly as Shion had and opened her own mouth. Well, I'd like to clear one thing up. I'm not a detective or anything, alright? In all honesty, I'm not really interested in who the culprit is. Takano, you sure are a handful. Tomitake gives a bit of laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter. You see, I just like cruel and atrocious ancient traditions and fairy tales. Me too, buddy. Me fucking too. I only enjoy them from a curious onlooker's perspective. So even for this string of incidents, it's not so much finding out who the culprit is, but enjoying thinking about how the old traditions displayed by the incident themselves still seem to have some pretty deep roots around here. Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was sharp at the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Maybe it's just that I was in fifth law of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend. You're a teenage boy, dude, you can't comprehend anyone's emotions. Well, I don't think any of this is interesting at all. The Watanagashi festival is coming up tomorrow, but I don't want anyone to die or disappear. Tomorrow, huh? Had to complete his string of murder incidents people attributed to Yashiro-sama's curse. It wasn't hiccups. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night at the festival, would someone die and someone disappear? I do wonder who will die tomorrow and who will disappear, though. Takano said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements, with a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. Then out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. They seemed to be ending the drinking party early. Right, I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? Should go back to her soon. You're teasing the kid too much, Takano. Now Keiichi thinks it's all true. I apologise. It's a bad habit of mine again, said Takano, sticking out her tongue bashfully. Strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found. When Takano sees an innocent child like you, she can't help wanting to poke fun at them. It's a real bad habit. Keiichi, you listened to everything so honestly, she ended up getting carried away. Unlike Takano, Tomitake seemed like a totally normal person with common sense, apologising after realising what kind of impression they'd given me. Stuff Takano just said is all fiction. If it made you harbour any bad impressions about Hinamizawa, then we apologise for that. Jeez, Shiro. You apologise to you, Takano. Tell him you're sorry for scaring him. Takano and Tomitake were arguing and messing around now. Strained air around us had already dissipated. Keiichi, you should get going soon too. Miono's a jealous type. If she sees me, she'll probably start a fight, so I'll just be going home. Really? Then I'll go see what Mion's doing, and apologise for making her wait, I guess. Sorry for being such a nuisance, Keiichi. Could you tell Mion was sorry for worrying you for so long? Ah, yes. I don't think telling her will make her feel any better, but sure. Tomitake and Takano, standing next to each other, both began to chuckle. Okay then, Keiichi, let's try and run into each other at tomorrow's festival. We'll see each other. I mean, it's us we're talking about after all. We'll be making so much trouble it'll be hard for you not to find us. Shion and I said our goodbyes to Tomitake and Takano. Before we could leave, Takano called out to us. Thanks for listening so earnestly to what I had to say. You're just so good at listening. I had a great time talking to you. Good at listening? No, not at all. I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from the I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all the shocking topics being thrown at me one after another. Did you like my story today? Well, it was pretty interesting. Then I'll tell you some more next time, okay? There's a lot of pretty interesting legends and fairy tales about Hinamizawa. Of course, a lot of strange and creepy ones too. I'll choose a bunch of my favourites and tell you about them. I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. Can't help but smile dryly and scratch at my head. Keiichi, you can go now. Takano's just messing with you. They say goodbye again and run off. I heard Tomitake call out behind him in a clear voice that we'd see each other at the festival tomorrow. When I went to the tent, Mion was waiting for me. Again, she was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long. Maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passing by, I heard she went home talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but my regret for having made Mion wait wasn't enough to try and feel the impression Takano and Shion's uncanny story left on me. Serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row. Would tomorrow's events make this the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizawa was carrying all this out under the guise of the curse? Queer tradition of ritual sacrifice, entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. Regretted it little, though it was too late. None of those creepy stories had anything to do with me. Then I should have let Mion pull me away from that crowd. Felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. Poor Mion. I really do feel for her. Right, let's see what my boss actually has to say. Oh, lots of new tips. A few new tips. It's information on helping students who have been sent home. Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onagafuchi village, the anger of Oyashiro-sama, his curse, was feared above all. However, it is seldom stated anywhere what actually happens and what sort of divine judgment curse befalls them when Oyashiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose, demons will come flooding out, miasma from hell will flood outward and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones evoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. Terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine there are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. Conditions for inciting Oyashiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in Onagafuchi village. The thing I forget when I'm reading Japanese names is they don't tend to place. It's you wouldn't be like Oyashiro-sama, it's Oyashiro. You don't place emphasis on something, and I have a tendency to try and place emphasis on the middle of a word because of, I guess, how I read words. So I'm trying to remember that it's not Onagafuchi, it's Onagafuchi. Or, Onagafuchi. Without particular inference, but especially not the Onagafuchi. I don't know. I can't pronounce words, okay. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oyashiro-sama was termed angry, and in order to calm his anger, they performed the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. I'd have thought by the by, which has got me fucked up, which is when people are like, just like skip all the dialogue and then click on all the empty things at the end. It can take some time, but you'll be fine. And it's like, do you not want to actually like read and understand what's going on in the game? Or the human sacrifice ritual. Sacrificial ritual was a simple drowning, involving plunging sacrifices into Onagafuchi swamp, which was considered hallowed. At the rituals of Onagafuchi, I did it again. This one was unique in that the sacrifice would slowly sink over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of the sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism then seeking as the submerging of Oyashiro-sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from records, those methods were not recorded. My thoughts are that they may have used logs or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifice up with ropes, and let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. If that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements that used for such a shrine were honoured as holy and enshrined somewhere. This has just reminded me, I do find these things really fascinating. I have a book, which one of the ones I left at my parents because I didn't bring many books with me when I moved up here, which is, it's sort of ghosts and legends and mythical tales from across the UK, and it's really cool, and it's, did me a surprise there. It is really cool. It's basically, it's a lot like this almost. It's like, you know, he's in this area. Here's like for Nottingham, for example, where I live at the moment, they would talk about Robin Hood, but they might talk about some of the local ghosts or some of the, like, you know, the black dog of, I don't know, the Nottingham Cathedral. I don't think one exists, but, you know, something along those lines, or talk about like the trend and the like boundaries, the like boundaries of the way a river marks the boundaries around a city. It's pretty neat. It's a really good book, and this just reminded me of that. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilised for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements or ritual implements, and even now some of them are enshrined on the property of the Furude Shrine and the three families. However, their identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Watanagashi village. As the Edo area came to a close and many traditional rituals were lost, were they lost as well? Or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the Feast of Watanagashi and those used during the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here today, at this very moment, in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain where they've been enshrined. What was once locked steadfastly has, for some reason, changed this year to a cheap locking padlock. He may be able to do something about such a lock. It is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. Night, when it becomes a blind spot to every village in Hinamizawa, is coming soon. Soon it will be Watanagashi. Is this Takano? Maybe that's why they chose her. And I wonder if maybe Tomitake was chosen as because he accomplice her. I'm wondering if maybe accomplice her. I can speak English, lads. I wonder if maybe she plans to get him to like help her break into a warehouse where they're stored and see what the sitch is. Hey, you went out ready? Tomorrow's the real thing. We're going to be partying until morning, until the very end of it all. Got it? Got it. I'll give it everything I've got. Alright then, youth is the greatest. Good work, everyone. Tomorrow's Watanagashi at last. Let's get some shut-eye in and save our energy for tomorrow night. Tomorrow is finally Watanagashi. Festivals are split into two groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. Former only need to prepare their minds, but the latter needs not only that, but also painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. With the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, we'll be straining the whole way through. Why? Sure as hell know why. Because the beer after everything's over is the best damn beer you'll ever have. Haha. Times like this, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. Wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way. Yep, it's the name of the whole chapter is happening halfway through. That's okay though. Oh, he's here. Mr. Oishi came in. Everyone hurried to stand up. I don't know what... Oh, here we go. Here, and I've got backgrounds now. Hello, everyone. Excellent work out there. You can be at ease. Thank you, sir. Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Mr. Oishi. We all Bowser from one of those cheering squads of old. Kurado Oishi. A detective just waiting to retire. One who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations, and doesn't do too much in the way of real work. Looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. Seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and may or may not have a quite heroic legend training behind him. Anyway, hi, first off, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I hope you've been having a good day. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him. Everyone, I really, really thank you for your hard work on the preparations for the festival tomorrow. Everyone present stands upright and knows their way to the chief's directions. We're on heavy alert for any thrill-seeking criminals suspecting another incident like last year. I need all of you to focus your energy as much as possible in your mission to prevent any crimes from happening. Yes, sir. Of course, it would be the best if nothing happened. However, everyone... Oh no, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you adjust. Those sort of knockout drugs that are like effective but also completely knock you out are the worst. I used to know somebody who took really strong sleeping medication in order to be able to sleep, but the problem is it would knock her out for about 12 hours. So she'd take it and she'd be, you know, it's like taking a horse tranquilizer. So it did the job, but it did the job too much. But she tried sort of things that were less effective and they just didn't help, so... Oh, it's that time. It's that time again when my upstairs neighbours must stomp very loudly. Please assume that an incident, ouch, will in fact occur. The ouch was because I got my hair stuck in my headphones. I really need to get it cut. Prevention is number one, but it probably won't be enough. This year, too, someone will die and someone will disappear. There's really no doubt about it. Hoo-hoo. Everyone apart from Section Chief smiled painfully. Mr. Oishi, that won't do. We need to be more serious about this. The important part isn't to get past the night of the festival. It's to be able to quickly, swiftly, and aggressively pursue whatever does happen tomorrow night. We won't tolerate anything less than your best. Clench those cheeks. We're going to rip all the skin off the ghost of Voyage to Asama's curse. Yeah. I've never heard that, like, clench your cheeks as a, like, do well. And I don't think I want to ever again. I also don't like the phrase, rip the skin off the ghost of a curse. That's got me super uncomfortable. Beep. The next achievement, by the by, is... discover what's in the storehouse. Wonderful. I really meant to say things differently. Fulton motion grows deeply at my bed heart. Whoops. I didn't catch that. Watanagashi. That time, why did I? I whispered in remorse. But now those words simply rang hollow. Ah, it's Keiichi. Good morning, good morning. Reina was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy. What do you mean, good morning? It's already evening. Just say hello or something. But this is the first time I've seen you today, so I think good morning is right. It's right. I got it, I got it. Okay then, good morning it is. Good morning, Reina. I grabbed Reina's head and rubbed it with my hand. Well, she squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. That's way too close to... That's too close, Reina. Hey, Keiichi. Sorry about yesterday. I left without telling you. Ah, no, it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long. Are you talking about setting up the festival yesterday? How was it, Keiichi? Did you do your job properly? Slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious. I did great. I'm pretty worn out now, though. I grinned dryly and the three of us break out into laughter. Where are Toko and Rika? Are we meeting up with them at the festival? Yep. Rika's actually been there since yesterday because she has such an important job. I think Toko stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As a friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Yeah. I think Keiichi has memory issues. The fact that he is like, I only just remembered. Like, I understand it's just the way that the game is written, but at the same time it's like, oh yeah, I only just remembered that this thing that my friends have been telling me about for, the last 2 weeks is happening. As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier too. I thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Do, 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 do. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs. Keiichi, you're going too fast. Wait for me. Man, Keiichi, you're such a little kid. I think it's partially translation, and I think it's also just the way that it's written is it's sort of like, so this, I mean, it's the second in the series, and I believe it was, so the guy who wrote these, Rikishio 7, I believe it is like their first visual novel is the Higurashi series, and then they did Umineko, and there's another one, a third one, which has started to come out, which I can't remember the name of. I might play Umineko after this, actually. I have a friend who's playing it, and I'm very intrigued, so I may pick it up after this. I think it's sort of, the writing is sort of such that it's like, here's the important thing that you need to know. Did you know that this is important and you need to know it? Because it's kind of important and you should know it. I think there's one out so far, and I don't think there's any English translations. Or I may be completely wrong about that. I'm gonna Google it super quickly. Man, Keiichi, you're such a little kid. When they cry. Whoa, shrine grounds. They were packed with people. It was a festival if ever I saw one. Wow, they really went all out this year. Amazing, amazing. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel you'd think it'd be easy to adapt, but I don't necessarily think it is, per se. Maybe I'm wrong. I read, this is my first time playing through these games. I've read the Higurashi manga, or I read most of it. I think I read to like the 7th chunk, 7th chapter, I suppose. 7th book, whatever you want to say. I'm never really, I knew Umineko was a thing, but I didn't actually know anything about it really until I started picking up Higurashi around the time that my friend started streaming Umineko. So it'll be intriguing. After this, I'm probably going to watch the Higurashi anime and read the manga at some point, to see what it's like. Here we go. So there is also a game series called Sikonyo When They Cry. The first one came out October last year. Okay. And there is an English adaptation available. So the more you know. So yeah, there's Umineko and Sikonyo. So the When They Cry series has got more to it. Wow, they went all out this year too. Amazing, amazing. I just had a quick Google, that's how I know. They're coming from Hinamizawa. Huh? The old man from Kumiyoshi branch family is here too. Been struggling with health issues since Watanagashi last year, but it looks like he got better. Yeah, there are a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. Must have all been pouring in just for today. Oh! It's Otoko. Hey! Oh, if it isn't everyone. Yes, hello to you all. Yo, Stoker. There's a lot of people today. Don't get lost in the crowd, okay? Who do you think you're talking to? Stoko too seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way. Huh? Where's Rika? She still has free time, doesn't she? Rika's giving her respect to the mayor and other important people. She'll come before long. I see. Rika is the shrine maiden for today's festival after all. Probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders. I've got really bad hiccups and I do apologise. It really is a pain. Hello everyone. Oh, Rika, I want to take you home. Rika wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance. How does it fit? It's not too long, is it? My grandma gave me some safety pins just in case the sleeves are too long. It's alright. It really is comfortable. She began to do some twists and stretches. It's great, it's so cute. Keiichi, don't you think she's cute? Don't you? If you don't, then she'll be all mine and I'll take her home with me. I think she's really cute, totally cool. Enough that I want to pretend to be her big brother or dad and take pictures with her. If we take a picture from 2 different places and make it stereoscopic, we can stare at real life Rika in our houses whenever we want. Sounds great, that sounds fantastic. Raina's eyes. No, I'm not reading some of the more ridiculous dialogue in this. I'm like, I'm not going to read that. Rika, you'd best stay away from them. Yes, or I might get locked in a basement somewhere. Wink. Haha. I like that. It's a funky little personality trait. And the thing that I really like about it also is that when Rika gets creepy, she gets super creepy because she's almost like the last person you'd expect it from, because her like persona is so like ditzy and sort of occasionally introspective, but mostly like, what are we talking about? And then like going into cute mode and just going complete overload. And then she gets creepy and I'm like, this is really unnerving. Even in the end of the last one where she was just outside saying sorry all evening, that freaked me out as like a thing that someone would do. Haha. You look like you're enjoying it though, Rika. Mion, you're being harsh. We will laugh together again. Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's go to the festival. Not much time left until Rika's big debut. You're right. Let's go, everyone. Yeah. Funky music time. Yo, if it isn't the daughter of Sonozaki. Eat up. The yakisoba is packed full of pork. This year we filled it up with as much as we could. We even put in fried calamari. Oh, it sounds so good. Gotcha, old timer. Yakisoba this year looks like quite an achievement. You have squid too? You put a ton of time into this, didn't you? Oh, I want a yakisoba. Wow, it's tasty, it's tasty. Squid is delicious, but the aroma is just fantastic. Wonderfully compensates for how soft it tends to be. Delightful amount of squid and pork in it too. Not bad at all, I say. Haha. Keiichi, you sound like you could walk into a cooking program and become the host. Yeah. When I see Keiichi acting like it's so good, it somehow tastes even better. Don't discriminate amongst delicious food, so anything that I say is tasty has got to be worth trying out, right? Then, Keiichi, please give us your opinion of this yakisoba again. I'll do it in 2 words. Absolutely scrumptious. Had a second stomach, I'd buy another one right now. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed and ran the yakisoba stand. Wow, that's amazing. Keiichi said it was good, so good that a little crowd started to form. Not bad. There's nothing to brag about, but I still decided to take out my chest and put on airs. Oh, is that so? Perhaps I shall try it out. Mister, could I perchance bother you for 1 takoyaki? Stoko bought a stick of takoyaki, pulls a fried octopus from the adjacent stand, and after blowing it, put some of them into her mouth. How is it, Stoko? If you give it a good rating, then Reina will buy it too. Chomp chomp. Chew chew. Various eating noises. Now it's time for Hinamizawa's very own food critic, Judge Toko Hojo, to give her the impressions. She was all for it a moment ago. Stoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it in their mouths. Huh? Reina got gypped. Mine's bad too. There's no octopus in it. It's takoyaki vendor. Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus-free takoyaki stand? An evil takoyaki stand that they skimped on the octopus because they figured it would make them good money today. Ah, mine has some. Yeah, it's pretty good considering there's octopus in it. How am I supposed to explain that this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? Everyone wondered about that. Quizzical looks seemed to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line. How about this? Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy. And even people who don't like octopus can eat this delicious takoyaki. I mean, it's not healthy because it's basically just deep-fried breadcrumbs. So, the unhealthiness. This is fair. I love seafood with all my heart and soul, so... Squid. Proper squid, not the shitty frozen stuff that I get. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. Had the exact opposite effect. Alright then, I'll give it a try next. A self-inspired take on takoyaki, in which you can clearly taste the simple flavours of flour, green onions, and pickled ginger. The unaffected taste is bolstered by the absence of octopus. Wasn't half bad, but after hearing there's no octopus in it clause, even more people left the line. Rika, any good comments? You can be honest. 400 yen is too much for this. That was too honest. Even more customers leave the line, dealing a lethal blow. Other takoyaki stands around after all. Well, I mean, we might not want to be doing this. Hey, Stoko, you started all this to give us a great big turnaround. I can't do it. How do you expect me to lavish praise upon takoyaki without any octopus in it? Idiot. Stoko's angry outburst was a finishing blow. That poor dude. Customers are all gone. Huh? Guy is staring at us. Why is that? Why is that? No saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichi Maebara, will lend a generous hand. Keiichi, you could do it. We want you to save the takoyaki vendor who didn't put any octopus in. Don't smile as you say something so bitter. Right, fine. Maybe the only chance you get to see a pro work, so watch carefully. Shoved the stick into an octopus-less takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before there wasn't any octopus in it, but Mion's had some. That was the important point. Man who runs a takoyaki stand? He truly loves takoyaki in every meaning of the word. It could even be said that he adores it. Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us. Man truly does love takoyaki, because he loves it. He doesn't want to create half-hearted random ones. Isn't that right? Takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure, watching and listening intently, wanting to know why octopus-less takoyaki deserves such a high rating. Keiichi, if you really truly love takoyaki that much, why do you make takoyaki without any octopus at all? Is it not betraying that very takoyaki? You may be right. In one sense it is a betrayal. It's the best possible compromise this man could find. Man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does. Only 1 or 2 of them on each stick are the real ones. Well, you were right. The one I ate had octopus in it. And considering it did actually have it, it didn't taste bad at all, you know? Right, that was a bona fide takoyaki. And as for the other ones, Compromise you can make against the bison general populace will think there needs to be 8 pieces on a stick, or else it's not real takoyaki. Huh? Kichi, I don't understand what you mean. Why is one of them the real things and all the other ones are fake? Why? The secret lies in the octopus. It's true, Akashi octopus, isn't it? In recent years, the number of octopus caught in Akashi has decreased, and the prices have risen drastically. Prices so high, you wouldn't think of using them in takoyaki. The man who'd been looking down this whole time mumbled, "Yeah, that's right. Akashi octopus, it's very expensive. This man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus. Could have bought much worse quality octopus for cheaper, as much as he wanted, and he still would have been able to fool everyone. Plenty of other scamming takoyaki vendors who claim theirs are from Akashi, even though it's not. This man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell lies. Akashi octopus are supreme. Never relinquish this one stubborn conviction. Man loved takoyaki, that's why he never lied. Yet, there was one point he absolutely had to compromise on." What might that be? The number. Popular opinion is that a stick of takoyaki should have 8 pieces on it. Even if it's real Akashi octopus, he couldn't charge 400 yen for just 1 piece, could he? If he didn't have 8 pieces, nobody would buy them. Man wept over it. In order to make just 1 true piece of takoyaki, he'd never let himself fly up through the other 7. Oh, octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clapped one of his shoulders. No matter what anyone else says, I'll never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, a true vendor of takoyaki. You're the only one in the world with the right to call himself that. Applauses. Those watching delivered a round of applause, smooth behind the speech. Everyone, I beg of you, please eat some of this true takoyaki vendor's takoyaki. If we don't trust a genuine men like this, then how can we protect the true path of takoyaki? Nobody else will eat them, then I will eat them all. Everyone watching is lining up. Keiichi, you did it! You did it! I think it's more they thought Keiichi's propaganda speech was interesting rather than the takoyaki actually looked good. Keiichi, you could probably sell plain old rocks if you tried. You would do well at product demonstrations in a supermarket. Yeah, these games tend to have a lot of these, like, really over-dramatic bits like that. You learn to just roll with the punches, you know? Suspect he'd be good at setting off suspicious wonder knives. Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch. The guy manning the stall next to his, this one called, the guy manning the next stand over called to me. Guys do that for my sweets too. Great, you will get the gist of it, right? It's your turn this time, Rona. Okay, I'll do my best. Oh, the apricot sweets are cold. They're very, very good. Apricot sitting so quietly and nicely on top of the syrup. It's so cute. I'm gonna take it home. Looks like she lost herself in this midway through, but it all giving it such a natural place was itself bringing in some customers. Line was quickly forming behind Reina. Next up is the okonomiyaki stand. Stoko, you're up. Well, crunch of the fried tempura batter mixed with yakisoba is simply to die for. With a huge piece of bacon laid on top, when you bite into it, it all comes flooding out. Chomp chomp chomp. Yeah, it's freaking great. Now I want to try some too. Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? Basically, all these onlookers are just following us around to all the stands. When people hear about food from others and try it for themselves, it tastes a lot better than it normally would. So that's it. Even Rika was scorching herself on food, getting sauce from the bib she put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty. Nice, the older guys are getting into it too. Okay, Keiichi, which one should I do? Right, Leon, you go to the stand next to that. Show him the depths of your power. But Keiichi, the stall next to that is... Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. Bit out of our element. No, as club president, I won't flee no matter who or what my opponent is. Let's get started. Lucas was also watching me on with hopeful eyes. Sorry, I skipped the dialogue here by accident. Welcome, welcome. Here's your net and bowl. Okay, here we go. I hate when they've put them right up like that. It feels really unnerving. They really look delicious. Small things like this, you could crunch them down whole. Mutter? Neon, what in the world are you saying? Neon, you eat them? Did you eat the one Reina caught last year too? No, I didn't say anything like that. Neon's face went red and she shook it vehemently in denial. I mean, you just said so yourself that they really look delicious. Yes, you did indeed say so. My sister is an omnivore. She eats anything that can go in her mouth. If they taste good, then maybe I'll try one next time. Don't eat a live fish! No, Rika, don't. You'll get sick. Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here? Hey, Keiichi, Mion, everyone. Good evening. Where did you come from, Shion? I've been here since the bit with the yakisoba. You were so loud that I found you right away. Jeez, you got nothing to do with this, do you? Go somewhere else already. Jeez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Right, Keiichi? You're okay with me being here, right? She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Keiichi. No, bad dialogue. I'm not reading this. Shion, what the hell are you trying to do? How vulgar. Seem to have misjudged you. What about my flat chest? No, bad. Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness for Reina, huh? Shion, Rika and I, our faces now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled. Nice job, Reina. Everyone's so dirty. Reina punched me. Really hurts. Rika, you get what you deserve. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%. Haha, your friends are so much fun, Mion. Never get bored of them. Right, if you weren't here it would be way more fun, you know. I want to stay with you all, but if I continue seducing Keiichi, my sister looks like she's literally going to bite my head off. So I'll retreat for now. I'll be back. See you, Mion. Don't be back. Get the salt. Someone get the salt. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared. I feel that I've been witness to a rare side of Mion. When Mion is with Shion, she looks kind of cute. Reina smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Mion. Don't say dumb stuff. Let's get to the next stand already. Went about just like that, really noisy and lively to the other stands, paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shop thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Thump. Vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Rika, it looks like it's time. Ah, yep, looks like it. Right, it's just about time for Rika to appear in the offertory dance. I'm a little nervous. Believe in yourself. All of your sweat will definitely amount to something, Rika. Mia slapped hard on Rika's back. That's right. You'll do fantastic, Rika. I'll do my best. Yeah. Fucking yeah. It's because she likes to see people suffer. Oh. My upstairs neighbours disagreed with that assessment. Dark Rika would be terrifying. Yeah, that's the spirit. I balled my hand into a fist and raced into the air. We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it, yay! Remember? Go for it, yay! Rika gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off. My hair is really annoying. Hang on. I tried to use my headphones like a hairband and keep my hair out of my face, but it's not working. I need to start clipping it up. I really need to get a haircut, but obviously I can't right now. Grumble grumble. Need a friend who does hair. Okay, we should get going too. Right, let's go to Huron. You mustn't. You must keep silent during the performance. I get it, jeez. I rubbed her hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end. Then we better hurry. All the good spots will be taken. Come on. Mion ran off, and everyone followed him on it. I forgot how to speak the English. Mion ran off, and everyone followed her a minute later. A large amount of people had reclustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Wow, this is a lot of people. Turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? Probably got lost amongst all the people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. Definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated. No big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika's dance is over. Gave up on finding the others and wandered around trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. Didn't take long for me to realise I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of people in front of me though. Thump. Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. Couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika come on stage with the elders who were in priestly garb. I heard low exhalations of admiration, and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. Should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked towards the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to provide bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using a mochi pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika held seemed really heavy. Insert your own joke about a mochi pounding mallet here. So, on a related note, before we get to the serious stuff, so in one of my games, Final Fantasy XIV, they have a New Year's festival every year. And it is usually based around mochi pounding, which means that for as long as that festival runs, continuous jokes about pounding a mochi, which, you know, I will lean right into because of who I am as a person, but, you know, can't buy that at the supermarket, or insert other bad joke here. Back and forth, up and down. It was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved, raised and dropped it, again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. A shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. Must be a ton of pressure on Rika's shoulders right now. Damn, why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm a friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her. Keiichi, over here. Someone tugged lightly in the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of. Shion? What's up? Shh. Just be quiet and come with me. After you told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land right here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I needed your sight of it right away. Normal getting separated for me. I ran after her so I wouldn't be left behind. As I wandered into space what kind of secret spot Rian had in mind, we left a crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds. Oh! Hey, wait, where are we going? We're getting further and further away. Shh! Just stay quiet and follow me. You'll understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people and not much moonlight. It was dark. We had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika's dance from here? See, there's some high spot around here, isn't there? Like a rooftop or somewhere we can look down at it, right? What? Why do we have to climb onto the roof? Well, how else are we supposed to see Rika's dance? Do you really want to see Rika's dance? Keiichi, could it be that your strike zone is really low? I don't think we're understanding each other here. Weren't you going to show me somewhere I could see Rika's dance from easily? What? Who made that promise? What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Because she deliberately makes herself hard to understand. Am I just reading the wrong things into it? I mean, almost always, yes. Then why'd you call me all the way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds, and now male and female of the same age are all alone together. Could this be... Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, is she? Shh! Look over there. See? Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbrush. And there we saw two figures, one male and one female. Aha! I was double-crossed by my own brain. Is that right at the scene of a rendezvous, of course? See, look closely. Can you tell who they are? I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitaka and Takano. Two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building. Wait, Shion, could this be what you wanted to show me? Keiichi, you can see Rika's dance anywhere, but you won't ever get another chance like this, okay? Thought the Summers like sisters each other in personalities, but at times like this, they seemed all too similar. Going back, don't call me for something like this again. If you move now, they'll see us. At a noisy argument, Takano suddenly turned around. Oh, my, who might that be? We held our breaths and tried to make it out, but it seemed like Takano was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush. Well, hello there. The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it? My, if it isn't Shion and Mayfara. Good evening. Yes, the moon certainly is pretty. What's this? Keiichi, you sure are smart, you know that? Having a secret date in a place like this? Guess who accidentally interrupted something important? You're the ones who are meeting up secretly. Tomitaka and Takano laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason. Wait, so you two weren't having a little rendezvous then? Of course we weren't. Though, I don't dislike that kind of romance. Oh, for sure. Unfortunately, this wasn't the location of a rendezvous either of you would want to see. Sorry for not living up to your expectations. This wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing? Toмотake, were you messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the two of them again, and I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of a warehouse door, filling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. Guess we haven't found out, huh? We were trying to break into the warehouse, but don't tell anyone, alright? Don't tell anyone? Are you thieves or something? I demanded unthinkingly, just because of how absently Toмотake was grinning. Nah, never. Thieves are people who steal things, right? It's not like we were trying to take anything out of here. I see. Then why are you trying to unlock the door? This is a forbidden storehouse for ritual tools, so only the Furude family and a mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse, show me the ritual tools. Took a few steps back at that and looked at the entire warehouse. Certainly looked like one, built removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened, and it was built to be durable, giving a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than usual warehouses. This place, they're called ritual implements. Basically, this is a warehouse where they store such tools used in rituals. More accurately, maybe it's a temple where the implements are enshrined. Ritual Higurashi using for the offertory dance was inside here until today. Of course, if anyone but the Furude family enters, they bring impurity into it, so absolutely no one is allowed a single step inside. It's a sanctuary. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? Whether Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and a terribly cruel grin at worst. I told you I was researching Hinamizawa's folk tales and legends out of an interest in them, didn't I? Sorry, what now? Email from Spotify. A lot of the answers to questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here. I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance. A chance. Either way. Southern or Midlands. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot. I see. Didn't know you had lockpicking skills, Toмотake. Stop it. I don't want to be doing this, okay? Sorry for taking you along with me, but this was all thanks to you, Jiro. I really am grateful. Sheesh. This is the only time, understand, Takano? I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. You really are a good person, Jiro. Clink. Toмотake undid the padlock and placed it to the side. It's open. Thank you. At long last. Takano gulped. With an unusually excited air about her, she gave the heavy door a shove. A sharp smell of mould and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. Claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe in them. Though I went into such a holy place with our shoes on, felt like we could be punished somehow. How about it? You're accomplices too. You came all the way here, so why not come in and take the tour? It'll be a little field trip to a museum of precious cultural artifacts that conceal the secret history of Hinamizawa. And it's only open today. We're not accomplices or anything. Aren't you interested there? Come on, let's take a peek. Shion said, predictably, linking her arm with mine. I had to mute myself there while I cleared my throat. I always forget how painful the huge amounts of reading that you do for these games are. Exactly, right, Fastoff? Like, this is all great. Everything is going fine. Nothing could possibly ever go wrong. But we definitely shouldn't be doing this. This is a holy warehouse, isn't it? You said ritual implements, right? I really feel like we shouldn't go in. I'm part of the Sonozaki family, so I have a good guess as to what we'll find in there. But I want you to see it too, Keiji. You want to show something to me? Thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy too. Krusty was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Man after my own heart. Until the locked door is open, though, I don't know about this. If you're not interested, Keiji, you can leave now. Think you'll wonder about it later, though. Tomotake's. Oh, well, he was not mixed up whoever was speaking. To take a short rest. Toмотake said that. I'll keep watch here. Go in and check it out with them. I'm not too interested, but it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Keiji. He said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter. Toмотake, do you know what's in there? Kind of. Takano told me all about it. Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Toмотake didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had any interest in and go straight for it, but Toмотake, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so frankly to check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter. Okay, but just a little. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it. Shion gave him another neon-like wink. Looks like we've decided. Should we go outside? Juro, I'll leave this to you. Tomitake waved his hand to see us off. The inside was pitch black, but Takano turned on the battery-powered lantern she brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room. It's so dark in here. Everyone, take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano smiled spitefully, as if leaving Tomitake out was something fun, and began to close the door. Man, alright, everyone have fun. There was a low, heavy, loud noise, completely cut off from the outside world and covered in silent darkness. Takano's lantern was the only light we had. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Don't say things like that out loud, Takano. Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. Couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. The last door sealing away what was in it within. Strange how it's an antechamber even though it's just a warehouse, isn't it? Well, you'd set up the space, you open one door at a time, never letting the room with all the tools be seen from the outside. Takano explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here. Huh? That, over there, it's... Spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring, clumsily attached to the wall. Oh here, isn't this the light switch or something? I flipped the biggest switch I can find, and with a click, the pitch black room was illuminated by an old, bare light bulb. Everyone scrunched up their faces at the sudden strome-like brightness. Don't! Before she even finished, she unslapped my hand and flipped the switch back. Another loud click, and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. Ow. You can't, Keiichi. We snuck in here, remember? Turn on the light, it might give us away. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. Look, she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light. It's alright. It was only for a moment. Takano remained a relaxed adult. Seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us. Let's go in. Here we go. There. Even heavier door opened, and this time it wasn't just the dust that came out of the air. There was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hadn't been opened in years, and the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odour of a fish market. Wonderful! Lovely. From how the sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano held up a lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa! Back where the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object standing there, looking down at us. Music made me jump. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by a slender beam of the lantern. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro-sama. It's far grander than the one at the shrine. Oyashiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa, the one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land with the dam construction. It looks like there are far more tools stored in here than I thought, but this is so sad. None of them have been maintained. How unfortunate they're in such a state. They look kind of unhealthy, you know? Like this. What on earth is that? Obviously this is the mochi mallet. Bird cages? That's definitely a coffin. Or it could be an Iron Maiden, I suppose, except without the spikes. It just looks weird is what I'm saying. Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceilings, and shelves. Takano, speaking as if trance, was infatuated with various implements filling the dark room. Weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or carpenter. A lot of strange large wooden items in... there were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. Imagine there'd be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. The expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away. Oh, is this not interesting for you? I'm not into literature or art, so I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value. Haha, Keiichi, you really do look like you don't get it. Guess it's only natural. Takano reached into a paper bag she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook and began to flip through it. Just for you, Keiichi, I'll tell you an old story. It's a common tale in this region. If you go to the library, it'd even be on their recommended reading list. Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place? She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now and pretend to be calm. Okay, alright, I'll read it. Yep. After knowing I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly, like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book. Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. The swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless. People said it was connected to hell, the land of the demons. Rumors said it was deeper than the ocean and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld. A bottomless swamp. His name was Watanagashi. Wait, I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices seeking in the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about? The village was Hinamizawa, right? You catch on quickly. That's right. Though it was called Onagafuchi Village at the time. Onagafuchi Village. It's a pretty inauspicious name. It evokes quite the image, doesn't it? I hear the name was changed in the Meiji period. The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onagafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamizawa, was Onagafuchi Village. Villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell in other words. They lived their lives worshipping the swamp said to connect to it. Then one day... Oh, whoa. Demons began to appear, one after another, from deep in the swamp. Villagers feared that hell was overflowing. Demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch and fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble. So did someone exterminate them? Unfortunately, there is no Momotaro or Superman in this family. Then did they get the whole village together to fight them? Heavens no. Villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight in equal times with the demons. Only recourse would be to flee the village. They couldn't do that either. To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrifying the demons, they wouldn't have run away so easily. Then what did they do? Wouldn't they just get wiped out? Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. When everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended onto them. I see. So Oyashiro-sama came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then? You're such a boy, Keiichi. You always jump straight into using force to resolve things. Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue. The thing about Oyashiro-sama, he wasn't a violent god who would beat them up like you're saying. He was a kind god filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of demons. Didn't even fight. They simply prostrated himself before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return. The world of the demons too has harsh commandments, claim they've been banished from hell. Demons, who didn't have a place to go, neither in hell nor in the human world. Of course they were at fault for attacking the village, deeply reflected on it and were sorry. As the villagers conversed among themselves, little by little they came to pity the demons and, after talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them. A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear one where they live in peace. You're right. Demons are supposed to symbolise all evils. The story where they decide to live together with humans is certainly strange. Pardon me. Ugh. When the demons first heard the village's invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. Villagers had given them a place to live. Said that in payment for this good deed, demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers. Oyashiro-san was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons the bodies of humans so they'd be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them, a land in which man, demon and god lived together. Thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. God may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that, where both sides live in harmony. I see. I guess it is kind of interesting. Although the normal fairy tale ends there, it was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. So the demons ended up disappearing? No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. Knowledge the villagers received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people called transcendent. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and those below worshipped them. They lived out their lives in secrecy. The story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean. The basis. What do you mean by root? She means the part about the villagers having demon blood. What I mean is, all the legends from around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descended from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that, like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in here. Wink! Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond just fairy tales. Oh, Mebara, then, do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans? Well, it's not that I don't believe it, but when she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? More well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different. Their physiques, their faces, and their skin colour. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue too. A handful of accidental aliens were drifting to Japan and came under persecution, being called demons, fleeing to the mountains to survive, turning into bandit groups and attack villagers for food and the like. How does that explanation sound? Maybe it's a bit childish. Takano gave me a weird smile when, having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it up with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me. It's not ridiculous. There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happened. Were they groups of foreigners who turned to banditry, or were they really demons who come from the bottom of the world? Then, Takano, which one do you believe? Truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it? Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist. Here I thought she rejected unrealistic stories like that. Now then, this is where the fun begins. Takano brought an end to her storytelling and waited for a moment as if to tantalise us. Huh? Suddenly Shion looked around as something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro like she was making sure nothing had changed. What's wrong, Shion? I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it. Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject. Explain that half of the villagers have demon blood. Blood. They actually say it's the blood of the kind of demon that eats people. Man-eating demons? That escalated quickly. Blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber. Thought the fairy tale had a happy ending, with the humans and demons living in peace, but something began to change into a brutal, bloody story. Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh. Villagers can't eat other villagers. So when this happens, it said they descend on the human villagers and conducted onikakushi. What's an onikakushi? Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone, when a person is demoned away. Say the villagers of Onigafuchi would overwhelm unfortunate human villagers in order to kidnap sacrifices. Takano's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. Lose their human reason, villagers turn into real demons en masse, attack the villagers they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below, and then they kill and eat the sacrifices. So they're no different from demons after all. What did Oyashiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village and watching over them? Oyashiro-sama knew about it, of course. Onikakushi isn't indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god. In the text, it's usually one or two people. A village inhabited by those both demon and inhuman. It's like the heartwarming episode's colours had inverted like negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth. Wink. So in the nights when they stole away villagers, they would feast on the kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Watanagashi. Watanagashi? Tonight's festival was Watanagashi. Just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano was telling me. Watanagashi, well, wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we use over the winter or something? Keiichi, Wata has another meaning, you know? It means entrails. Shion, who'd been silent until now, spoke up. Entrails? Oh, I guess that's true. Like fish guts. Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Oh, that made me jump again. Watanagashi, so gut spilling. Didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating. Yes, it's as you imagine, Maybara. Right now, the Watanagashi festival might just be a somewhat early summer festival occurring every June, but it used to be different. It used to be a ghastly cannibalistic feast, held on the night the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner. That can't be true. I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it. Maybara, you said that the Watanagashi is a festival about festival. I tried to turn ritual and festival into restival. About purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons filled with cotton, with wata, represent? Futons are futons. They're beds. They're things for sleeping in. What else could they possibly represent? I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons stuffed with cotton. The cotton represented entrails in both pronunciation and meaning, then entrail-filled futons would have to be humans. That's a really disgusting sentence and thought, and I love it. Why don't you think back to the offertory dance Rika performed? Do you know what she was doing up there? No, I don't. I didn't even watch the whole thing anyway. Shh. Keiichi, you're getting too worked up. Shion grabbed my ears, reminding me this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still can't suppress this agitation I feel. Rika was carrying a festival hoe. Probably realised it already, but that's not a hoe for plowing fields. It's a tool for dissecting human bodies. Bad content. Whoa. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I didn't know what kind of performance Rika was putting on after I left. Keiichi has a face at last. He's finally been given a face. Amazing. When I told this to Kana, she kindly explained Rika's dance to me. Summarised what she said. After what I'd seen, Rika would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out one bit at a time and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was. Broadly speaking, it was quite the bombastic ceremony, where they'd rip out the guts and throw them into a basin. Then the ritual was over. Saw that afterwards, the villagers, each with a different role, dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feasted upon it. To Kana's strangely happy giggle, I felt for some reason violent displeasure. I know, I really like this art style as well. Rika, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice panning mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets, to practice for the offertory dance she'd done today. All that effort, all that work. Takano disgraced it, even though she worked so hard to practice for today. Takano, I think you should choose your words more carefully. Keiichi's pretty naive, so please don't teach him so much. A minute before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel. I'm sorry. I thought you'd like a story with that sort of shock value, since you're a boy. Takano spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully. After hearing all that, did you figure out what kind of stuff is in the storehouse, Keiichi? See, look. Shion pointed at one of the walls vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was... moments ago they hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. My leg's gone to sleep. All these interesting tools that I didn't understand how to use all suddenly took on new meaning, and I couldn't help but let out a groan. First they'd look like carpentry tools, like chisels or planes, but when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these sorts of tools before. Yeah, they came up in a Japanese history textbook, on the page introducing the Kaitai Shinso, or New Text on Anatomy. Sorts of things. They're printed realistically in the literature of Germany, capital of the medical world. These aren't carpentry tools. Strange shaped tools, they're for dissection. Growth. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who'd been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. Things hung up on this wall all looked exactly the same as those. If you want a scarier way of looking at it, think of them as cooking utensils. Haha. Takano, holding the lantern, the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not. Look. Takano illuminated a cold shape which left a bigger impression than the other things we saw. The chain itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Keiichi, look at that! She tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. This thing, I guess. Grim. Grim and also grim. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was turning into sherbet as it crawled up my back. On each of the joints there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It's like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in. It's probably a chopping block. I think it strapped the sacrifice down to prep them for eating. The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or saw. They were the most clear-cut signs of a usage you could ask for. Prove these tools weren't just for show. They were used for their original purpose, or they were used for a purpose. Someone was strapped tightly onto this table. They probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. The guts would be defenseless. You take one of those eerie cooking knives lined up over there, stab them with it, and then you slice open their belly and dissect them. I'd heard the stories, but this is incredible. Before coming in here, Shiona mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seems to have exceeded her imagination. There's still more. How about it? More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it? Takano had this happy expression like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Smio Takano person has nerves of steel. Well, I mean, she is a nurse, but also... these bizarre, grotesque objects, that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank. It was all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all this. That would be none other than Takano herself. Takano, holding the lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light, she'd suddenly turned it off, Then what would I do next? The next moment, when everything went totally dark. That's why I was scared. Takano had the only light, and anyway I was scared. At some point Shiona started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. Minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally here and now. Fucking yeah. Before we'd even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up, or crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones made to take away sacrifices' freedom, and some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were obviously constructed in such a way they could kill people. Duh. If that was the goal, then the person who used them on would obviously end up dead. The kinds of tools here were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, they might even not kill them. Might not even kill them. Sacrifices could die during such horrifying ritual process. It'd be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in such a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they're only being allowed to live. Only now in this moment did I fully realise just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was. People, you see, most of these wouldn't kill them if used properly. Takano, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile. Burning at the stake, the famous method of execution for witches, will kill the person immediately. When the body suffers extreme burns on the skin all over, decomposition of the skin's chemical makeup produces poison-like symptoms and causes an immense shock to the victim. Though I suppose it's still very cruel. Compared to the guillotine, you'd have to wait far longer for that to happen. She described such horrors in such a strangely medical way. She would immediately answer the question I had. Takano was a nurse. There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true. Well, we know something that can scare a doctor. Oh, and also, there was a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would grill a person, just like a barbecue. They would cover the person in wire netting and slowly cook them over charcoal fire. I think the memories of I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back now, of all times, so vividly. That's what it was like. Apparently they wouldn't die too easily for some reason. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of a person to a crisp for an entire night, they would still be conscious and able to speak fluently. That's insane. You grill someone the whole day and they'd still be conscious? So that in ancient Rome, famous for executions, there are plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible. Among them, there was one method where they would open the gut, pull out the intestines like sausages, pull them up with a winch and put them on public display. I should put a gore warning. So, retrospective gore warning. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared. She was protecting her stomach. You think someone with their intestines would die immediately, right? Actually, as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly, it's apparently possible to pull them all out while the person is still conscious. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were coiling up, just from Takano's stare. The pulling them out with a winch was rather exaggerated method. In a more barbaric way, they might slice open the gut, then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere. It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too, isn't it? However, those being put to death are conscious. It must be far more terrifying than painful. She spoke with pleasure as if she'd come here on a sightseeing trip. I heard Shion gulping multiple times near my ears. Perhaps Hinamizawa, rather Onigafuchi village, does something like that for the Watanagashi festival. Listen, if you try hard, can't you hear it? I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. Why? Why only at times like this do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? Takano, having realised she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk again. Takano left us here, we get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano along a field trip through the ritual storehouse. Totally understand, by the by, why Takano and Tomitake got chosen this year now. I suppose we've seen a bit of everything. See? This place is interesting, isn't it? She says, raising the lantern high in the centre of the storehouse. I know, I really wanted to read the manga after finishing Onikakushi, and then I was like, no, I want to save it, so I don't accidentally spoil myself. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason it felt like I was able to see all of those horrible tools at once. Keiichi, look up. Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. This is fair, yeah. I mean, I'd recommend it if you catch them on sale, but I figure the anime is a bit, it condenses things a lot. I would suspect there's less like repeating of the same thing over and over again, because it's like, we want you to know what's happening so you can work it out. They all looked like they were made of iron bars, but then I figured it out. Cages. The cages, they were very small. Cramped cages just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there? No, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many big and large things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano's mention of execution by grinning crosses my mind. It's... I don't know. Yeah, no, this is very fair. We weren't just surrounded on our sides by these terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads. There are many of these sorts of bird cages amongst European torture devices. Surprised to see them in Japan as well. Keiichi, is there something in here? A person? A mummy? Where? Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was in there in the first place. This makes a lot of sense. I can totally understand you'd put the anime on and sort of be able to have it on in the background almost. So I feel that makes sense. I don't see anything. You sure you're not seeing things? Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder. Miyabara, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it? The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa? It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no way to deny it. Whoops. Wrong button. Mubby. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts of the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape-like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past, no more than a series of historical events, and in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. Unless you are a true crime fan, in which case. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well. Just as Europe had its dark age, Hinamizawa had one too. It's how this should be taken. Even if these things already happened in Hinamizawa, they're all long past. They don't have anything to do with the people living in Hinamizawa right now. Mibara, you really do like this village. It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano gave me a light smile. Takano, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? Shell suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. Telling me that all these horrible things are still going on even today. Oh, pardon me for the hiccups. What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? Told you, Shion, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. Shion flashed a devilish smile as if reveling in the immorality of it. Mibara, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oyashiro-sama's curse, or be made into a sacrifice. Wink. If it's a curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's a sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still alive? It is tonight, you know, the night of Oyashiro-sama's curse, Takano said, bringing her face right up close to ours, as if to say that she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano took a fairly worn notebook out of a paper bag, then began to flip through its pages. There were all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them, and it had all manner of things written inside. Letters were very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was about. What I'd really like to do is search through the National Library for newspapers from the era, but here it is. A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was about just by glancing at it. It's a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era, discovered an unknown mangled corpse, victim of a murder in Onigafuchi village. An old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumour or fairy tale. We don't have most police documents from the time anymore, so it's all based on oral traditions and memories. See, it's not very clear, but it looks like a cutout of a newspaper from the Meiji era. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy, it was hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Makes me start looking over my shoulder. Near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. Identity of the corpse was unknown. wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. I'm really going to have to remember to put a gore warning when I upload this onto YouTube. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. Police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult. Do you understand what it must have been like? Couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. For the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination. The victim was skinned while still alive, underwent all kinds of torture, and was killed brutally. Author here also thinks that even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. What do you think, Maebara? She's spoken away intended to make you imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal than when I broke my gaze from Takano. Those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. Wonder if you could faithfully reproduce a mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the major area, with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools, and as if they'd seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently. A creepy incident. What was it in the end? Author says that regarding Watanagashi village's dreadful customs, they survived into recent post-Meiji days, and that perhaps they'd last until around the beginning of the Showa period. The corpse at a glance appeared to have been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was pitiful sacrificial remains of a man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. So fantastic, so strange that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era though, which is too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it. Okay, but even if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago. That's all, only 100 years ago. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period. Like with the uproar around post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologise. The story was taboo, wasn't it? Takano immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Huh? Takano, what did you just say? Canned flesh? We hates it, precious. Just then, there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. As Tomitake had opened the door slightly. Whoops. Did I startle you? Oh, Chiro, could you not resist seeing inside? It's a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano held her stomach and had to muffle a laughter, as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. In any case, the dance and ceremony over and everyone's going down to the stream. Festival will be over within minutes. Oh, that's no good. Maebara's just such a good listener that I couldn't help telling stories. Well, they do say I'm about to say something really gross. That spam is a bit of a delicacy in Japan, so just saying. I told you I was going to say something really gross, and then I said it, and I instantly regret it. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this. Chiro, could you wait out front? I want to take a few pictures. There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but we obviously can't do that. Takano took a camera out of a paper bag and began to snap photographs. Camera noise made me jump. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Keiichi, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano stand by herself in the darkness. When I thought about it though, I realised that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed to flash a camera at it. Seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. Ah, that's a different game. That's a game called Fatal Frame. Seemed like Shion, we exchanged glances and smiled painfully. He left Takano there, bathed in a strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Ah, phew, we're back up to the funky music. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. Voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place. How was it? Interesting? Tomitake gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. Should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were. I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomitake. Tomitake laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings. How'd you fare, Shion? Were you scared? I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but seeing the raw thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing how I was in way worse state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomitake groaned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. Was Takano an adult about this little expedition? You know how she seems like a child sometimes. Worried she'd be way too excited. But Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. I'm worried she'll sneak something out of there or mess with the ritual implement too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She's alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket. Yeah, can see that. Shion said what I was thinking. Sure she didn't break anything? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. I'm sorry, I ran out of film. Chiro, if you have any more, could I use some? Takano suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomitake smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. I'm all out of spare film. Sorry about that. Jeez, you won't win any Pulitzer Prizes by not stocking a film-friendly occasion, you know? Suppose that's it then. Tomitake scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano seemed to have given up because of that too. Checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned at the heavy padlock we left beside it. Takano, you didn't sneak anything out, right? How rude. I'm trying not to be that childish. Clack. Tomitake set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all. Okay, let's get over to the stream ourselves. If we don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point coming to the festival. Tomitake spoke brightly, urging us all on. Setting cotton afloat down the stream, shook my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano, looking then let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you? Oh, not at all. Everything I found in you renewed my interests. All those stories and legends suddenly hold water. After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at all this. Wow, she's truly indomitable. Curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this, through and through. We descended the stone stairs, and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that we cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and sending it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over. Damn, I missed my chance to photograph the best part of Watanagashi. Oh, but it's not too late. I'm going to go and set some afloat. Perhaps you could take pictures of me? Takano, with an impish expression, put her head to Tomitake's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. Felt an honest respect for Tomitake, man to man, for dating such a handful of women. Goodbye then, Maebara, Shion. Don't like the voice I've given Takano. It's kind of weird. We're going down to the stream. Would you like to come with us? No, I couldn't get in your way. Please, take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano's. Tomitake in his spot seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps. Pretty worn out. Same here. I'm exhausted too. Keiichi, this is your first Watanagashi, isn't it? You go on, don't mind me. I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd. Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. My sister and your other friends might be looking for you too. Go on. Oh, yeah, right. They've been by themselves ever since we got separated. I feel bad if they were looking for me. Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, putting her index finger to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret. My sister is the type that gets really jealous. If she knew I was holding you this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it, so keep tonight's secret, okay? Keep tonight's secret? Don't say things that are so embarrassing. Not only because of that, either. Considering what we're doing tonight, we really need to keep it a secret. Oyashiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates. Losing threads of tension became taut again. Thanks, Shion. Thanks for that. Shion, however, burst out laughing. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here before I run into my sister. Really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway. Can't tell if you get along with her or not. It's pretty obvious that the answer is no, but whatever. We get along? As she said that, her vague expression explained there are a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins. I'm an only child, so I don't really get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay? Right, thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm gonna go. You should hurry up if you want to make it, Keiichi. Watanagashi really is about to end. Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her butt. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me. Seriously though, what was that sound anyway? It's kind of unpleasant and creepy. Huh? What sound? The sound. You know, the banging noise? It was really loud, wasn't it? was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too. Sorry, Shion. Could you give me the short version? What was making noise? Wait, Keiichi, it didn't bother you? When all said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages. Shion, explain it to me without jokes from the beginning, will you? What's this about a noise? Keiichi, you quit joking around too. Really, honestly, it didn't bother you? Neither of us was giving any ground. Both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation, and hiccups. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her and ask politely one more time. I'm going to ask one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions. Shion nodded silently. Okay, here goes. Said there was a sound. What are you talking about? The banging sound. It was like a kid was jumping up and down on the floorboards somewhere far away. Really didn't bother you? There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? Never heard anything. Wait, Keiichi, are you serious? Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no idea what she's talking about, but if it's Shion acting so like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine. It was while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse with Takano, about the time she started her stories, I think it was, little by little, louder and louder, off and on. She had a banging sound, like a child jumping on distant floorboards. Can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all that. Didn't hear anything at all. The fact was certainly silent there. My own heartbeat was almost deafening. Please don't try to scare me either, Keiichi. It was like something was making noise in time with Takano's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. Reached my head, my mind froze over. You and Takano-san weren't paying any attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but you heard it, right? It happened to a bunch of times, and it was really loud. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You gotta be kidding, look. I mean, she is, but in this case, I completely believe her, because Tomitake said the same thing, so... That storehouse was surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did. What are you laughing about? I really got you, Keiichi. I was fibbing the whole time. What? Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial and actually made me feel worse. Then after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic goodbye phrases, she left almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she'd been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. Now that I think back, Tomitake said the same thing, didn't he? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomitake, the most neutral party present at the time, said he'd heard something. Then that noise. It was real? The banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Oyashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano, Tomitake, Shion, and me. Bustling the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of insects sounded too close for comfort. I miss so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then all of a sudden I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch. Keiichi, we found you! It was Rika. When I turned around, Mion and Reina were there too. We finally found you. Now we just need to find Satoko. Everyone got split up this year. We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. You're right. It's a festival, so we should all be together. Listen to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt. Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing? Yeah, saw it all. You did a great job all the way through. No mistakes either. Yeah, that's right, Rika. That didn't count as a mistake. Tensed up as I realised I'd made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand onto my shoulder a little roughly. Gross sweat broke out over my whole body. Did you do it too, Keiichi? Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head. Huh? You haven't, Keiichi? You should go now or it'll be over. It'll be over. Sorry, this is my first Watanagashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff. That's right. I'm sorry. Mion took my hand and we started walking down the stone steps. Hey, Keiichi. What? Did you see Shion? My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. No, well, I sort of think I saw her. You two look so alike though, so it might have been you. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes. Huh? Oh, that's right. Neil's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me. I just can't do anything about that, Shion. Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former, usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her fondly pulling my hand along. Nice. Great. Let's read those tips. So the achievement for this is plumbing the depths, and the icon is that of a hoe. As in a gardening / corpse dissecting hoe. Right, let's read these. Watanagashi. The rite of Watanagashi is performed during a village festival every June, even now, but reading back to its origin turns up a seriously sanguine ceremony. Originally, Watanagashi would happen at fixed intervals, and after receiving Oyashiro-sama's trust, they chose a sacrifice. Then the entire village would kidnap, demon away, the person and ceremoniously dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determine the intervals are shrouded in mystery, because ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. Theory that it was determined based on astrological fortune-telling, but that isn't too convincing. The residents of ancient Onagafuchi village firmly believed they were half man, half demon transcendents. They were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. Just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of Watanagashi was a political event for the purpose of being an outlet for, or diverting attention of, the villagers of the isolated Onagafuchi village, in case any of their complaints or dissatisfactions grew serious. But that was the main reason these ceremonies were held. It's easy to explain how erratic they were. It seems kind of weird, like, oh man, there's some disagreements, so, the god says we have to go kidnap someone and eat them. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe that's just me, though. The alleged importance of the implements. I can't find anything that gives a concrete description of what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely existed a multitude of different kinds. One source states the implements used in Watanagashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question then is why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of Watanagashi was to kidnap people through the demoning away, dissect them, and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why have they created so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for domestication over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end, and in searching for the next goal, they would split into many different subtypes. Perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest that these 200 plus implements had some entertainment value. It's just a hypothesis, of course, but maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment. 3 families evolved or developed one new implement, dissection tool, after another, and each was varied, novel, and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them have to be enshrined within that storehouse. It isn't much longer until the night of Watanagashi. Though its original intent's been lost, I will reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night within the ritual storehouse. I can't restrain my excitement. Watanagashi cannot come soon enough. Takano. You are unloving. Also, yeah, big rip fast off. Intense rip. Late that night, tensions in the police station were trained. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and the telephones, counting the seconds that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya burst in with a young man trailing behind him. Mr. Oishi, I've got the autopsy results. The court physician just got here. I'm ready to go, sir. I head straight for the burned body's location. Kuma, things have gotten a bit complicated. They appear to be having a very difficult time determining who the victim is. Could they have been dismembered? Nope. Cooked to a nice light brown. Spoken in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. Staff gave a collective sigh. All the way? Head to toe? Completely blackened, it seems. Probably smells terrible too. What a shame it is to be Gifu. Cooked with no possessions? Then discarded outside the prefecture. Worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they'd sniffed it out tonight was huge. Komiyama and a few others performing a thorough night raid on the dentist at Okonomiya. All we can do is hope it matches some medical records. Sorry, could someone go buy me two or so boxes of strong cigarettes? The young guy answered an affirmation and darted out into the hallway. We did an excellent job finding it this year. Could be that people who disappeared in past years were scattered outside the prefecture like this too. Then why not bury them or sink them into the Sea of Japan or like Lake Biwa or something like that? Why though? Hasn't the pattern so far been one person dies and another disappears? Kuma, the corpses inside of Aldron, unrestrained and cooked, probably burned them after strangling them. Knew it would be found. So what you mean is from the beginning they didn't want a person to disappear this year? Not so much that they just aren't related. The person didn't disappear. In fact, whoever did it seems to have wanted to make a show of it. You mean it could be a warning? He folded his arms, then heaved a long and heavy sigh. Might have been the case had it happened in town. If they'd messed up taking the victims far away and burning them alive wouldn't have been noticed. If they meant it as a warning, they should have done it closer to Hinamizawa. They wanted to emphasise the fact that they killed the victim, but instead of doing it some with dramatic effect, they did it for outside the prefecture. Do they want to emphasise it or hide it? Boy, do I wonder what Ayashiro-san was up to this year. A telephone ring cuts through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatched up the receiver. Mr. Oishi, it's Komiyama. They have it. The dental clinic in Okonomiya fixed the wisdom tooth 3 years ago. What about the records? Complete with x-rays. Well, I feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn. Kuma, get out there as soon as you get the records from Komiyama. Will do. Oh, it's the chief. Thank you for coming out at this hour. Mr. Oishi, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation? Well, it's just getting good, you see. We're all getting fired up. Wow. Well, folks, on that delicious cliffhanger, we are going to end things off here. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. It is very, very, very much appreciated, and I do hope that you enjoyed it. I will be streaming Dishonored this Saturday, where, having saved the princess, and you know, we're doing great. We know we're everything is going to be fine. We're definitely not going to be betrayed. Take care, Fast Off. Have fun. Enjoy it. I'll probably watch it after I finish the whole game series, because otherwise I will spoil myself and then I'll get really annoyed. Oh, absolutely. But I mean, it's a good, I presume it's a good anime. I've never watched the anime, but I like the manga and I like the game, so, you know, worth it if you ask me. What was I saying? Dishonored on Saturday. Then Sunday will be Destiny 2, where we will be continuing on with the story of Forsaken, where we're going to go hunt a bunch of bad guys. You too, Fast Off. Take care of yourself. Have a good evening. Next Tuesday will be Final Fantasy XIV, where we are going to be doing the Hatching Tide Festival and the raids and roulettes and usual. After next week, I'm going to start streaming Shadowbringers on my alt, so we're going to be doing that during streams, so please look forward to it. But next Thursday will be more Higurashi When They Cry, where we're going to find out just who disappeared and who died this year, if you hadn't worked it out already. But anyway, do take care of yourselves, have a wonderful evening, be wonderful to each other, blah blah blah. I'm gonna go drink a glass of water and pass out because my throat really hurts, as it always does after these streams. So take care, have a wonderful evening, and I shall see you guys on Saturday.